right, everybody. Welcome to a brand new episode of Tacos en Europa. I am Jorge.
My name is Edson.
And this is the podcast for the people that are new with us. This is the podcast where we talk about all things Mexico national team, all the European players that play over in Europe, and, all the news, all the performances, everything that there is to know, all the goals, all the assists. You can always reach us out on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram, on TikTok. We're on all the social media platforms. You can also hear us on YouTube and on all your podcast platforms. On your favorite one, just look up Tacos en Europa and you will find us. Be sure to subscribe on YouTube and click on the bell button so you can see when we upload those new videos. All right, so let's get started. Let's start with England, Wolves.
No, why?
Just to say that Jimenez was not even called up to the squad. We're going to talk a little bit more about that and the news section at the end. If you want to hear about it, make sure to stay till then. Let's go to Spain. Talk about Guardado and Real Betis. Their loss 3-2 against Osasuna. Terrible loss for the Champions League hopes.
Yeah, their Champions League dreams are basically like dead by now. Real Sociedad is having a better season and a better closing of the season. And Betis is really strongly this last game.
Shout out Jonathan Gomez, the dual national. He made the bench for La Sociedad this week. So he didn't come in, but, the fact that they're calling him up, that's a good sign, Dual national last played for the United States, but he is available to choose Mexico if he wants to.
Yeah, he hasn't chosen yet.
Yeah.
It's good to have the option.
So Guardado, 45 minutes as a starter and as a captain. Terrible game. Terrible game.
Yet all of Betis struggled, but Guardado was like the epicenter of all the struggle.
Of bad.
Yeah, he was playing as a midfielder in the two-man pivot, and he was the one playing further back, and he was really struggling. They seem to be pressing, especially in his zone. Even the two goals that came in the last part of the game, the last part of the first half, it came from Guardado's side. It was his mistake. He was in the picture, as we say.
He was in the picture, like as we say in the podcast. And it was two little mistakes that ended up in that. He only had like 1 of 6 duels. He was dribbled past 3 times. He had a key pass, but like only 2 out of 4 long balls, which is his specialty. So it was a very quiet game for him. They took him out in the half because I think Osasuna knew that they could exploit him, and they took advantage.
Yeah, he was having a terrible game.
Yeah.
So hopefully it's the last of these bad form games, but
it's not usual. It's not usual, but
but he has had bad games in the last 2 weeks. So it's recurring by now.
Yeah, the only good part is that Sevilla win their game against Villarreal, who is right below them in the table. So they get to keep on to that Europa League spot for now. So they get bailed out by Sevilla and a Tegatito on the bench that didn't come out to play.
Yeah.
Espanyol, Cesar Montes, 0-0 tie against Cadiz. He plays 90 minutes, and I'm just going to copy and paste this every video. Best center back in the whole game.
Yeah, he had an interesting game, especially in possession. He was crossing these long balls that he usually throws like from the right to the left. 7 out of 10 long balls. 1 center, one cross.
Yeah.
Like, how? And just amazing on the duels, like 12 out of 20 or something like that. 8 out of 14 on the air.
Can you repeat that please one more time? 8 of 14 in the air. Like, how?
Yeah, he was playing every ball in the air. That's the point.
He
was
insane.
the only center back jumping for the ball.
I think he's the only one that can reach. But it was a very solid game, very solid performance. It's a tie, so it doesn't really help their relegation fight. This would have kept them in the same place, but tied for points because they have a terrible goal differential. But they would at least tie them in points with the guys above them.
And that's the thing. This was a 6-point game. Cadiz is right above them
it's right there
on the relegation table.
So yeah, bad result, great game. Jordan Carrillo, Sporting de Gijón. They win this game, and he only comes in like the 86th minute, so he literally touches the ball like 2-3 times. Like, it's not much to talk about. Oviedo, Marcelo doesn't come in, but they also win. Let's go to Italy. Now let's get to the good part. Chucky Lozano has 2 games in this week. The first one is going to be the disappointment of the week, the sadness of the week. Champions League, Milan. They tie 2-2, but they are eliminated 3-2 in the global.
Yeah, it's a sad state of affairs for Napoli that they hit a bump on their form right as the closing of the season.
Yeah.
Right when the important games on the Champions League hit, Napoli started struggling. Because you can't blame it only on Osimhen's injury. At the beginning of the season, they had like a month without Osimhen, and they were playing fantastic. Raspadori was playing great. Chorito was playing good. Kvaratskhelia never failed. And these 2 games against Milan and the 2 before those were really bad from Napoli all around.
Yeah, I mean, it's to the point where, like, back then you could literally plug in any other. I mean, Osimhen is amazing. He was doing great. Obviously, he's a monster. But you could have plugged any of the 3 strikers and they would have played well, you know? And right now, like, it was so bad that he couldn't even trust Raspadori to put him in the lineup. He had to play like that Kivicha false 9 experiment type of deal. And it was...
also Elmas, the same position. They tried a whole bunch of things.
Yeah, it just didn't work out. You know, Chucky was shut down by Teo Hernandez once again. He came in the 34th minute after a Politano injury. So, really not much. Nothing that I could say. I can't give you a good stat from Chucky. We had 3 out of 3 dribbles.
Yeah, as I was saying on the Spanish version, Chucky always does this. Where he dribbles, just running the wing, and just reaches the end of the pitch, and there's no cross to be had. So he dribbles all the way back.
Yeah, and then he cuts to the side, and he passes the ball to the side, and it's like the same thing.
Yeah, the horseshoe maneuver.
Yeah, the horseshoe maneuver once again. It's a very quiet game, you know, but like it is what it is. They're eliminated from the Champions League. But during the weekend, they have a very important game as well. Juventus against Napoli. You know, it's a crazy game always, every single time. He plays better. He starts his game.
Yeah, and it's you say it's an important game because of Juventus. You have to beat Juventus.
Yeah. It's for the bragging rights.
Yeah, and they just got back their points. Their 15 points. So they're third on the table. And if they had they won this, they will have jumped to second place.
Yeah, so it was just a dramatic game. You know, they had just finished taking away 2 of Juventus' goals that they scored. And then Napoli scores the 3rd one in the 93rd minute. They scored the 4th goal. So it was intense. But for Chucky, you know, he was okay. He had like 3 key passes. He had some really good crosses into the box. You know, he was doing his thing out there. But Juventus defense was just stupid. Like, it was stupid.
He was dangerous, but you can't against Allegri ball.
Yeah.
There's a reason why Juventus is the best defense of the league.
Yeah, it's just at one point they were defending like with a 5-3-1. Like, it was sad. It made me cry when I was seeing that.
That's another symptom of Allegri ball.
Yeah. So other than that, you know, there's not much to talk about here. You know, Chucky had 1 bad game, 1 okay game, a loss and a win. So at least, you know, they're 1 Lazio loss away from getting the title.
Yeah.
So actually, they're 1 loss away, and they have to win the next game, which is against Salernitana. Memo Ochoa is going to kind of try to stop them and, you know, prolong the title race a little bit.
Yeah, and they could, because Ochoa is having a great closing of the season. He even won this game 3-0 against Sassuolo, and another clear match for him. 2 shots on goal, 2 shots stopped.
Yeah.
Great match for him.
His 3rd clean sheet since he got there. And, you know, Napoli might have a chance because their center back line, like their defensive line, had like probably the best game for me since they started. But they played so well that 2 of them literally just imploded. Like they literally they just kind of like, you know, like when Toy Story, like when Andy comes in the room, they're just like, yeah, that's what they just kind of like fell away.
That's sad.
So yeah, if they have the bench out there, I think it's gonna be pretty easy for Napoli to close it up next week.
Look, at least we're gonna see Memochoa face a lot of shots.
Yeah, and there's gonna be Mexican versus Mexican, so very, very important and very, very interesting game next week. Let's talk about Cremonese just so we can jump out of here real quick. Johan Vasquez, what a center back, man! Like, what a difference from the beginning of the season. First of all,
he was in such a bad season that he was benched and just dropped to the shadow realm.
Yeah, like at some point he wasn't even getting called up for some of the games. Like, and now like I think it's been 4 games where like he's been the best center back like in the game, like out of all the center backs.
Since the FIFA, the international stop, Johan has been the best defender from Cremonese.
Yeah, I mean, he only has like one little mistake where like in the first goal, he follows his mark and then like the fullback doesn't close the space so they score on him. But he has to follow the mark, he can't just leave the guy alone.
He made a mistake. What? He was doing his job and the other guy didn't. That's his mistake.
Because he can also make the decision.
Known better.
He can always make the decision of like staying and covering the spot. But like he decided not to, which is fine too. But other than that, like he stopped everything that was coming through his side. All the danger came from the right side because the other guy was struggling a little bit more.
Yeah, they were having injury issues on the defender side. That's why last week he played on the right, if you remember.
Yeah.
So Cremonese is struggling. Still, I hope they could stay up on Serie A, but it's looking really, really hard.
It's all but confirmed that they're going down. They just need the confirmation at this point. But Feyenoord, ENG, Santi Jimenez also has 2 games. The first one, Europa League, another disappointment. They lose this game 4-1 and see themselves sent back home.
Yeah. Look, at least they push Mourinho from till the edge. They went to extra time. They pushed the game right until the last 15 minutes.
Yeah,
that's the most you can do again.
It wasn't even like they pushed, like they actually almost were about to win the game.
Yeah, Dybala just fucked them up.
If Dybala just didn't exist in this world, they would be in the next round right now. Like,
it was a great goal.
Yeah, it was gornazo, bro. And he did play the 120 minutes. He gets red carded at the end of this game. So if they do make it to a Champions League, I don't know if he's gonna start that game or not. The first game.
Yeah, I think not because they're UEFA competition, but who knows?
So it transfers to the whichever one?
I will think so, but
we'll find out. We'll have to find out. But then they also play in the weekend against Utrecht. He plays 84 minutes here. Quiet game again. What a goal. So what else do you want?
A poacher's goal. A Chicharito classic.
Yeah. He's turning into Chicharito. The last 2 goals have been like literally just homage.
No, but there's something different with this goal because he makes the pass that turns into the cross that he finishes.
Yeah.
So I know Chicharito also can pivot, but it's not his strong suit. Jimenez does a little bit more in that sense. But still, a great game, and just as Danilo gets in the game, when they play with 2 strikers, it gets really interesting for Feyenoord.
What a difference in the first half and the second half when Danilo comes in. You just see like that difference in the versatility in their attack and, just how much more space he's able to get. And, speaking of differences in the team, I mean, how different does Ajax look without Edson Alvarez on the field?
With Edson Alvarez, they're fighting for the title. Without, they're getting run over by PSV.
They might be fighting relegation.
No. Let's come down.
Hey, man. It looks sad. It looks sad.
Oh, they were so soft on the midfield.
Yeah.
Like, they don't have a single backbone among the 3 midfielders that they had.
There was just like
a shame.
Yeah, there was an Edson-shaped hole in the middle of the midfield, in the deepest end in the attack.
On the midfield, and then on the box, because Basel was having a terrible game as well.
And they couldn't even bring out the ball from the back because you know how they play out from the back. They couldn't even do that. It was sad to see them try to start an attack.
Yeah,
Actually,
when you throw the ball to Jorge, I think do something. You know you're screwed.
Yeah, when that's your plan of attack, when that's your plan of attack, it's just
get the ball to Jorge. And Jorge's no, don't get the ball to Jorge.
Without fairness, Jorge did have like an okay, like it wasn't a terrible game. I think like one of the better pieces of a terrible Ajax game. You know, he actually connected 2 crosses. Shout out to him. And you know, those were 2 passes that his team should have finished, and it could have like helped them out. But it just it was just a bad game for them.
It might sound facetious that we're saying, oh, he connected 2 crosses, but he should be connected 7.
Yeah,
but that's how hard it was for Ajax to attack. They never had people on the box. Tadic was not completing things. The wingers were useless. And Jorge, he looked okay on the attack, but on defense, Xavi Simons killed him. Once, twice, thrice. They were running him over.
The leading scorer of the league, you know, that's what happens when he goes up against you. And it's his first year in Europe, you know, and then he's had a rough patch until like last game. He was doing really bad. So it was a wake-up call, you know, to have Xavi Simons, the leading scorer of the league, play against you. So definitely he did struggle. It's not even a lie. But other than that, you know, I think it was a not terrible game. Not good, but not terrible.
He looks better because the rest of Ajax looks shitty.
He looks better from earlier in the season.
Yeah.
Which is not hard.
Yeah.
But other than that, they actually play against PSV. I don't know if we mentioned that yet. So Eddie Gutierrez comes in the 66th minute. They win the match 3-0 in the first half. So he literally just comes in to just chill. But
he wasn't even like defending because Ajax wasn't attacking.
Yeah, no need for Gutierrez in this game.
No,
it was just nothing of effort.
He didn't even punch anyone. So
a couple of words, but nothing too intense. Belgium, we have Gerardo Arteaga, a tie 2-2 against Sporting Charleroi. And speaking first of Arteaga, it wasn't a terrible game, like numbers-wise, but his defensive, like his marking was just off throughout this game. So, you know, they get scored on twice, and I believe he had something to do with it with some of them. So now this tie is terrible because this means that Genk is tied at the top with USG. So going into the playoff, they have the same exact amount of points when they used to have like a double-digit cushion, like a couple games ago.
14, 13 points that they had on advantage. But Genk is not the same team that went into the FIFA World Cup.
Yeah,
they came back and they're awful.
They suffered.
And Arteaga is among those.
Yeah, he has like a good one and then 3 bad ones, and then a good one, and like hasn't been very consistent for him. Yeah. And also Munoz, I think he might be injured because he hasn't come out to play in like 2-3 games.
Yeah, they play Preciado, so you know things like that.
So that's like one of their main offensive like weapons. So that's pretty bad. AEK Athens, Orbelin Pineda, they win this game 3-1. Towards the end, they score the tiebreaker.
Like on their 85 minute there.
Panathinaikos wins their game, and like they were sweating. I know it.
It's getting very, very close among Athens and Panathinaikos. It's a two-man race.
If somebody doesn't win a game, like tie or lose, before they get to face each other, it's over. It's over. So
it might end with their face-off, right?
Yeah. So they have to make sure.
Dramatic.
Athens needs to keep the amount of points. They need to keep winning until they face them. That's gonna be the winner right there.
And the alarming thing is, Athens didn't play great this game.
Yeah,
they were missing Araujo, who is usually the captain, and Orbelin was playing as a 10, but actually he was playing more of a second pivot with Szymanski playing as a lone 10. It was a very quiet game from Pineda because he was doing a lot of hard work with zero offensive responsibility, so he wasn't like shining as usual.
Yeah, so they have to just keep doing their thing until they get to that face-off. But other than that, nothing much to talk about in this game. It was a bad game from Orbelin, but in Poland, we have Miazlegnica Santiago Naveda, who has 2 games. The second one, he doesn't come in at all. But the first game, he comes in the 64th minute. And every single time he comes in, he's just super efficient. He ends up with like 4 clearances, an interception, 1 out of 1 duel, 4 out of 4. Like he has 100% passes, which is 4 out of 4, 1 long ball, and a completed dribble. So it's just every time he comes in, he's super like.
Yeah, he's at the level of the team, if not higher.
Yeah.
Right? At his teammates. So I don't know why he's not there. He should be, but it's either they're like trying to play their younger players to sell, maybe, because he's alone that's gonna get back to America in the
At
summer.
the end of this, yeah.
So maybe there's no point for Midfield to play him if they're gonna get relegated.
Yeah.
Or there's something like personality wise, I don't know. It's really weird.
It's a very like it's a weird situation. I don't know how to explain it, but other than that, like he doesn't even come in the second game in the weekend. So I don't know how to explain that one, but he is a good player, and I hope he's able to land somewhere well next season if it's not America. But you can tell me your best player of the match day, please.
Look, I know you're gonna say Johan because he had a great game. So I'm gonna do something a little bit different and go with him.
Okay. Yeah, he had a pretty good game. You know, he had 2 out of 2 stops, which is what you have, you know. But I think so. It was okay, but I think that the clean sheet is what needs to be like celebrated here. The third clean sheet. Yeah.
It's really hard for Memo with the defense, with the rest of the team that they have. So a clean sheet is something important for them. And on the other side, well, Johan, is it great?
It's one of my favorite games to see Johan. I think he stopped everything that he could have stopped. Like his side was the most solid of like the whole game, and it was just intense to see him like that again in a 2-man system, which is interesting because he's been playing. Yeah, he's been playing 3 with like a backup for a while, for the whole season, and now I was kind of scared to say, oh, but by himself now, I don't know how he's gonna do, and he killed it. He did amazing. Yeah, so it was super interesting. I think both of those two is fair to say. So I'm glad you picked Memo so we can celebrate that clean sheet. But tell me your favorite game of the match week.
Oh, I have to go with the Clasico, PSV Ajax. Even though only PSV was playing, you just have to love the atmosphere of a Clasic.
Energy,
you know?
Yeah, the energy.
Yeah,
the
they had
violence.
to stop the enemy because they were getting like throwing things at the Ajax players. So
yeah.
It was really interesting to watch.
Yeah, they were going crazy over there in the stands, and I really enjoyed watching it too. But I really liked the Europa League, Roma versus Feyenoord. I think it was a super great game up until the 120 minutes. Obviously, the red card was like, intense. And other than that, I think it was just an amazing. I think Feyenoord did what they had to do against Roma. It was just an amazing goal by Dybala.
Yeah, and again, we were talking about the atmosphere. Roma Feyenoord is turning into a classic from
they won. Why are they so mad? Roma beat them in the final last year. Why are they so angry?
Yeah, it's turning into a classic game from the from UEFA.
Yeah,
if they get together in the Champions League group stage, it's gonna be wild.
Another bloodbath. There's gonna be another bloodbath. So we'll have to see for next season. Hopefully Santi stays. Like you want him to stay in Feyenoord, but speaking of that, like type of news is transfers. Tell me what you found this week.
Well, we say news, but it's gossip, like it's ventaneando light.
Yeah, nothing too concrete.
Never. So what we heard along the week was Feyenoord still looking at Chavez. We have heard this like from the last 6 months. And Feyenoord needs a replacement for Kokshu.
Yes.
Kokshu is going to get sold. They will not be able to stop a 50, 60 million offer from Kokshu. I don't know if it's going to be Liverpool or I don't know, Bayern Munich, City, Real Madrid. I don't know. but they will buy him.
Yeah.
Anyone. So Chavez could fit that profile, and especially if Feyenoord wants to compete on the Champions. So that might be the reason. And on other news, Orbelin seems to that he won't be able to stay on Athens. They won't be able to buy him, and Celta would like to sell. So there were the sellers that are like turning up are some things from Spain, in Mexico. You might guess who is the money bag people that will try to get him.
Yeah.
And even some Argentinian team for some reason.
That was the most random thing when I saw that, like Argentinian team. But obviously, we hope he stays in Europe. We hope the Spanish team is one that picks him up. But other than that,
I would like to see him on Mallorca. It will be really interesting.
Yeah. Some mid-table team will be very. I think he can compete in that league if he gets the minutes, if he gets the momentum, if he gets that rhythm in. But once you take it away, like they did in Celta Vigo, it's hard. He's not a player that can just show up and ball. He has to get minutes.
And they were playing him out of position because Celta Vigo had like 7 attacking midfielders, so it was never a good fit.
Yeah. So who knows?
Same on Spain, Araujo, Julian, seems to be a loanee from Barcelona next season.
Yeah.
He won't play next season with them, so they're going to try to fit him in some teams. Probably Spain to get acclimated with the league, but who knows?
Yeah.
Let's see what happens.
That'd be nice
finally,
to see. No.
And finally, we know Raúl Jiménez is gonna get sold from Wolves.
Yeah, that was the
story with them is done.
That was the news we were talking about at the beginning of the podcast. Like, I think it's done. He hasn't been getting called up, and it looks like, at least he gets to leave, like as a legend of the club. He gave them like that amazing season that saw them in the Europa League. I think before the accident happened, so he will go down in their history as one of their best strikers. But just unfortunately, it's over.
He's the best striker that they had since Steve Bull in the 50s or 60s.
Yeah.
I don't know, 70s maybe. I don't know. I'm not sure. But yeah, it's sad to see the end of his time with Wolves like this. Like at almost 2 years struggling this bad, but it is what it is with footballers' careers. Hopefully he bounces back wherever he goes. Hopefully in Europe, but who knows?
Yeah. So hopefully we can still talk about him in the podcast. If he goes to Turkey or if he goes to, I don't know, like France, or like if he goes to like a lower tier league, it would be good for him. He could maybe regain some type of level. But we'll have to see how it goes in the summer. Obviously that Mexican paycheck is sweet. That American paycheck, looks sweet. So we'll have to see what he decides.
That Chivas could use a striker. I know
volvieron a perder las Chivas.
I think American people are gonna get mad at it, but it fits.
He has to do what he has to do.
Yeah.
But okay, I think with that, we're gonna have to run out of time for this one. Other than that,
but we didn't talk about the CONCACAF Clasico, Mexico against the USA.
We had a game in between the week. We had Mexico USA play. You are correct. I think.
Yeah, it was the USA C team against Delta team from Mexico.
Yeah, it was definitely like
the bench of the bench against the bench of the bench of the bench.
It was pretty much league versus league. It was Liga MX versus MLS. Like not the best players, but the players that could go.
Not even, because neither Monterrey lent everyone nor Tigres, so it wasn't.
So that's why it was a weird thing, but I mean, I enjoyed it. Obviously, the tie sucks, and it was from a mistake. I think we deserved to win, and we played to win, and we played better. So I enjoyed it. I thought it was a good game.
Yeah, it was very interesting to see Coca actually use his setup.
Yeah,
the 3 center back system, try to play with a 3-4-3, sometimes 3-5-2. It was different, so it was good. Who did you like from the players?
Obviously the double pivot, the Pachuca double pivot, Sanchez and Chavez, the twins, Sanchez, Chavez, and against MLS players, obviously they're gonna shine. And I really liked Alexis Vega. I think he was pulling a lot of the strings in the attack, and he was very, he's very versatile in that game. I liked him.
Yeah, he was interesting.
Yeah.
And Antuna, you know, the
I
the
don't
leading scorer from the last, I don't know how many years with the national team.
want to be caught on camera saying that Antuna played well.
Yeah, that's right.
No, I mean
Why?
he had a goal. He had the goal for us, and he does those moves
Or no, he turns
very
out.
well. Yeah, he does those moves very well. You know, there's always that respect for him. Other than that, though, like there was a lot of bad things. Like our wingbacks were terrible. Like, yeah, no, we were just
Yeah, I
talking
don't
so
know
much
what
about how
happened with him.
we were talking so much about him, and like we were praising him. We were like putting him on a pedestal, and he sucked. It was terrible.
He made me almost ask for Arteaga. We're sucking all the way in Europe as well.
I know we were talking good about you too, and you sucked too, man. You couldn't connect the one cross. We were praising him. We were already convincing you that he was good because you hated him.
Yeah, I always knew he was lying.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, other than that, like we had Toro Guzman. He made that mistake, you know, in the for the goal for United States. I think if he just lets it go, Acevedo gets there, man.
But if
Yeah, if you know, and the goal came from before, you know, obviously it's that mistake from Araujo, but if you're there, you need to know what to do. I think I don't know, it just, but it's the fact that it was a goal from a mistake that makes me feel better because that means if that didn't happen, we would have won.
to be fair, the goal that Antuna gets is from a mistake from the midfield from the US as well.
But that's what Antuna does, though. That's how we bring him.
Touche.
So it's different. But yeah, I think that's going to be all the time we have for today. And if that's all the news, I think we're going to wrap it up. So thank you guys for listening. I hope you guys have an amazing week. Be sure to follow us next week so we can talk about what happened this coming week. Thank you guys for listening. I am Jorge.
My name is Edgar.
Have an amazing week. We'll see you on Monday.
Something weird is happening. Las Chivas is playing well.
That's a bad omen. Be careful. Everybody drive safe.